Yeah. I got a funnier story, though, because that Bitcoin's kind of boring. I got swatted a couple days ago. Did you guys see about that?
I saw the photo
more.
you posted online, yeah.
Have you guys been swatted before?
I have a couple times.
I
don't know
not,
how many times, but enough that I don't know. I lost count.
Oh,
I've had
really?
to talk to my local PD many times.
Have you?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the swatting like in your... I don't know exactly where you guys live, but LAPD, they really wanted to show off all their stuff on Sunday morning when I got swatted. I woke up to a phone call. I had been up doing drugs all night. I woke up to a phone call and said, hey, usually I don't even pick up the phone if I don't know the number. I woke up and the guy said, hey, this is the police. And I was like, okay. Uh-oh. And he goes, yeah, we had a call that you killed your wife and that we should come get you. And I was like, oh, well, first of all, I hope that's true, that I did kill my wife, but I kind of doubt it. She's not here.
Anymore.
I said, I think you're being. I said, wait, let me. I think you're being pranked. Like, this is a swatting that you're getting. I didn't kill my girlfriend. First of all, stop saying that. Stop saying the W word.
Yeah.
But I didn't kill my girlfriend. And he goes, huh, okay. And then I wake up a little bit and I hear helicopters going around, a sound I haven't heard since I lived in Hollywood. And I'm like, bro, are these helicopters for me? Like, I live in a nice area, so I haven't heard a helicopter. I haven't heard a ghetto bird in a long time. But I'm like, is this for me? He goes, yeah, we got a lot of guys out here. I'm like, oh, really? He goes, yeah. If what you're saying is true, and I'm like, bro, it's true. Wait. I didn't shoot anybody. I definitely didn't shoot my fucking wife.
Either way, it's pretty flattering to send that many guys.
Yeah. I was like, how many guys you got? It's not enough. You'll never take me alive.
And yeah, I didn't kill her, but now I think I might.
I said, yeah, okay. And he goes, you got any more people in there with you? Yeah, breathe them out. I said, yeah, my buddy is here. He spent the night. He's in the other room. And he goes, he's like really confused by this. I'm kind of like disappointed. I can tell they wanted to just come in and use all their cool guns. Yeah. And he's like, okay, well, why don't you go wake him up and we're going to need you to come outside. Don't go outside until I call you back. I'm like, what? Or what? Like, can I go outside a little bit? And he goes, no, don't go outside. And I said, I have a dog in here. And he goes, no, hold on, I'll call you back. So
don't strain the dog.
I hang up the phone, and I'm like, fuck, how many felonies do I have? Okay, let's go through guns. I know there's a bunch of drugs upstairs. I gotta start getting rid of shit. So I go knock on my friends. I'm like, hey, buddy, wake up. The cops are here. We have to go outside. They think I killed my wife. I didn't. Wake up, come on out. And I get a text from my girlfriend who was out getting me acai bowls. Every Sunday morning, she takes our dog to the park and gets us acai bowls, which I hate because you eat it and then you're hungry in like an hour and a half. So I'm starving. I always end up eating more when she tries to get me to like eat less, Because I'm like,
sure,
well,
I know how that is.
It's like 1:30. Now I'm angry and hungry.
Second lunch.
I need to pound some sausages down to get rid of that acai. So she goes, hey, I'm up with the cops. There's a shitload of cops here. You better clean things up and get ready for their call. And I'm like, no, I'm way ahead of you. Don't
worry. I've taken everything.
Don't fucking talk to me about. So her story is hilarious. I found it out later. She got stopped by the cops. She was coming back home with our acai bowls, and she got stopped. The cops had barricaded my street, like up and there's a couple different ways up into this mountain. I'm like Al Qaeda. I live in a mountain bunker fortress. They blocked off the roads coming in and out, and she drove up, and she was like, "What the fuck? There's a helicopter in the sky. There's all this shit." And her Citizen app lit up. You guys know that app?
And I don't know what that is.
It's like a crime reporting app. It's just a feed of crimes that happen. which women have, and then get all, ooh, there's a fucking stabbing. Ooh, there was a break-in. Ooh, right? I'm so scared. Ooh, honey, I'm so horny. What would you do? Then they go, what would you do? I'm like, I broke in. I'm like, babe, I would fucking end that guy, right? I would fucking chop. By the way, I can't do any. This has been the worst year of my life. I don't know if you guys know this either, but do you remember the one time I was on your show? I said, it was Kyle, when you were all buff and you like revealed your buff bod, and we were talking about working out, and I said, I'll get 4 good months or 6 good months, and then I will be hurt so bad that I can't work out for like ever. Right fucking January this year, I broke my foot the night before I was supposed to go to Portugal, and then as soon as my foot healed, I ripped my bicep totally off the bone, like balled up, tendon severed, bowling.
Like knocking pins down?
Yeah, bowling, like I don't even want to do the motion anymore.
What else would he mean? Bowling.
No, it's just because that's such a baffling way to hurt you. How could that rip your bicep off?
I don't know, but the doctor said that I was doing this bowling event at Ralph. I was doing Ralph Retort's bowling event. I threw a ball. There was this disgusting tearing sound. I was feeling great about being ripped too. There's really sick tearing sound, and I felt like that sickness of tendons ripping. And I turned around, and this fucking jackass just goes, "Oh, bro, you ripped your bicep right off. That's gonna be 6 months." That same thing happened. I'm like, you had to like. Just shout that like I'm still reeling from the.
So you got an instant diagnosis.
Yeah, like for some reason it was like this word. I thought, oh god, this is the worst it could possibly be. And then he just goes like, oh bro, like drinking his beer in his hand. Like let me show you how bad it actually gets. I just am able to lift anything that weighs more than a pound as of this week with this hand.
Since January, or when was this?
Medically, is it going to be normal again?
I don't know. He said in 3 months from now I can return to like normal working out.
So you would struggle to kill your girlfriend anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's no way you could.
No, dude, you could kill your girlfriend with one arm.
I only need the left.
I
come here.
But
my luck, I would try to shove her down the stairs, and she would like duck, and I would go like, "Whoa!" You know. So anyway, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say.
I want to hear more swatting.
What was the? Did you throw it really hard? Like, were you memeing?
You know what? I didn't know you're supposed to let go of the ball. I just saw those videos.
What? You were in a bowling tournament. Were you aiming for the ceiling? Were you doing the thing?
I don't know. I think I was trying to spin it like a cool pro. You know.
Yeah, but you tore your bicep and looked like a real asshole.
Yeah, you didn't look like a cool pro at all.
Professional
right, back to the
asshole.
swatting. I want to know.
Okay, so the cop calls back and he says, "Okay, you need to leave your house and put your hands on your head and walk down the street." And I was like, "Okay, I have an old dog in here. Please don't shoot it." He goes, "Put the dog outside. Tell the dog to put their hands on their heads." Like, okay.
Put your paws on your head.
I put the dog out, and my buddy and I start walking down the street like this, and it's like dead, like the apocalypse dead, like weirdly dead, and neighbors are kind of poking their heads out, and they're all like annoyed because like if I'm involved, I did it. Right.
They finally got that son of a bitch. I told you
did.
it was a kitty fucker.
Even the party house, like the Airbnb house, that's always different people, dude. They're like waking up, like, "Oh, you motherfucker! Like, I know what you did." So we get down the street, and we see the cops. I think I'm being pranked by like fake police because they're just nowhere. I'm like, why do I have my hands on my? Can I like go like this? Am I gonna get shot? We get down the street like a quarter mile, I don't know, and the cops like are seen, like they're around the corner, and there's a shitload of them, and they all, of course, they all have their guns out, like, following all their dumb shields. They're all parked like aggressively, coply. They can't just pull over like normal.
Punisher logos littered
Yeah.
throughout.
Yeah. I said, guys, there's a school shooting up here. And they all went, oh, ran away.
Scattered and ran.
The ultimate ace card for cops.
Children are in danger.
Diving over. Ferris Bueller music started playing.
the kids take
And the
care of
cops running away. So like, okay. Stop. Turn around. And I'm like, man, it's okay. So like, you, the blue shirt, walk backwards. And I'm like, man, that was my buddy. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, but it looks like you're getting executed here today, buddy. Because we can't hear. So they're talking in like a bullhorn that they picked up on the way over from like a thrift store. Like, well, you want a blue shirt? Can you play backwards? And they're doing like cop talk, that annoying cop talk. I'm like, please, sir, can you please proceed to turn your individual self around? I'm like, man, what the fuck did you say? So he goes back and they're like, well, turn to the side and crab walk. So he's crab walking. I'm like, all right, that's odd. And they go, lay down, put your ankles on the ground, lay down with your face down, your cheek on the asphalt. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? This is a nice fucking neighborhood. We're laying in the fucking street? Like, we can't lay in the yard that's right there? So he goes, all right, you with the long hair. I'm like, all right. So I go, well, having that repeated is not going to help. So I'm just going to start walking backwards, and if they shoot me, then I guess I did the wrong thing. So I start walking slow backwards. I'm like, okay, no reaction from the dealing with the fucking cops and the whole time you're thinking, if you freak out, they'll freak out, right? Like,
Yeah. Do you think they would have if you would have been like, I can't understand you? I don't know.
So I'm walking. They have me walk sideways then after I walked backwards for a little bit. Okay.
Sir, curl that 2-pound dumbbell with your right arm. I can't. Sir, we're going to kill your friend.
And I'm trying to angle my way accidentally. I'm trying to walk towards grass. And they're like, sir, can you straighten out? Okay, fuck. So I'm walking over and they have me walk past him. And then I see this little piece of shade in the distance. There's a tree. There's 2 pieces of shade, and they laid him down in one of the pieces of shade. And I'm like, are you fucking dicks walking me over to the other piece of shade to lay? That's nice of you, but why don't you just say either you think I killed my wife or you don't. Just say, can you go walk over to the shade and lay down? So I get to the shade, they're like, I'm like, all right. Like, well, put your hand down, put your face on the asphalt, put your cheek, put your knees down, put your ankles down. Okay, man, fuck. So they run over, and I'm expecting a bunch of flying fucking George Floyd knees to the back, right? I'm bracing for it. I'm like, man, they come over. I'm like, man, I just had surgery on this arm. Please do not fuck with my arm. Please don't fuck with my arm. And they're like, okay. Put the cuffs on.
This is my stabbing arm.
This is mine.
Exhausted right now.
Joke's on you. I was hiding a fucking Derringer hooker gun in that fucking scar. So they're like, okay, we're gonna need you to turn over. Can you take your down leg clockwise and lift it up? I'm like, man, what? I know how to sit up. What do you mean? You don't need to direct me on
Sit up.
they're pulling at my arms like one of those artist dummies, those little posing anatomy dummies. I'm like, just get away. I
now
can
here,
sit
sir,
up
we're gonna transition to you to a position where your feet will hold your full weight.
Yeah, it's
standing?
sir, what we call this is a controlled fall, okay? You're going to want to let gravity take control, and then when you feel unsafe, that's when you move your foot forward. It's called walking, dude. So we get over, and they start digging around for our IDs. I'm like, well, you guys didn't say to bring your ID, by the way, when you told us to come out here. And I'm like, oh, fuck, the only place I didn't check for drugs was my fucking pockets. Shit. So they pull out my phone, and they're to my friend. My friend is a gay guy, obviously gay. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, I bet this isn't what you wanted to be doing on Sunday morning. He goes, well, it could be worse. I could be in church. So they're like
Like-
going through their cop shit. I'm like, all right, so do you have any guns in the house? I'm like, yeah. What do you kiss your mother with those lips?
Do I
What
look
the
like a liberal?
What do I look like? A fucking
You do have long hair.
Some pansy.
fruity ass? What do I look like? Some kind of. So after 10 minutes of that, they're like, "Well, will any go off? Like accidentally?" I'm like, motherfucker, are you asking me if I have any booby traps in my house? No, I don't have any booby traps in my.
There's a series of paint cans you're gonna have to look out for.
There's a tarantula loose in my house, you pigs! Good luck dealing with my brother's tarantula, you motherfuckers!
If you try and get in the window, there are broken ornaments in case to try and turn you back.
Like, you got a lot of booby traps? And the guys are like, okay, cops, watch out for the booby traps that I put all over the house for you guys.
Yeah. My whole living room is a punji pit. Be careful.
So they're about to go in. They've got all of their guns out. I live like a quarter mile. Like they start moving their phalanx of their cars with the doors open and all their guns out. I'm like, guys, I mean, come on. Like I live here. And I said, oh, wait. There is a sex doll in the basement downstairs. And everybody is a real doll in the basement downstairs, and everybody who sees it gets freaked out. So do not see the real doll and just start blasting, okay? That is not a woman. And they pause, and it's like, and they're like, okay, wait, we gotta call, hold on. You say you're a streamer? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, do you stream with the doll? I said, no,
Yes.
I'm a comedian. It's a prop, like a comedy show. Someone gave it to me as a joke. And they're like, that look of like, when people just don't get a joke. It's like, come on, man. Just one of you please explain it to the other ones why that's funny. They're like, okay. Well, we'll check it out. We'll check this out. So they go. They're asking me all this bullshit. The neighbors are coming over. Guys are saying, "Hey, this truck full of Mexicans pull up." And they're like, "Hey, can we get through? We got to clean a pool." And they're like, "Oh, it'll be 10 minutes." And then the cop turns back to me and goes like, "Or 30." I'm like, "Man, I'm not the fucking demo for this fucking riff." He's like elbow. He turns back and he's like, "Or 30," like elbow. And I'm like, "I'm putting fucking handcuffs, you dickhead." My fucking acai is getting warm. Okay, are you gonna go refreeze my acai bowl after this? I don't think you are. So the neighbor sees me and they're like, "Oh yeah, my kid just saw you on Citizen." The cops, people are driving by where my girlfriend's at, and they told her to calm down because she told them, they asked her if I had any guns. She goes, "Why don't you fucking find out for yourself?" And so, calm down, man. People are driving by, and they're like, "What happened down here?" And the cops go, "Somebody shot somebody." And she's like, "No, nobody shot anybody. I'm the one he shot." So the cops come back. Cops come back after whatever, 30 minutes, 29 minutes. And they're like, "Yeah, no, it's clear. The house is clear." And one of them, like the biggest looking one, comes over to me and goes, "I saw that sex doll, and it did freak me out." Like, thank you for listening to me when I said don't get freaked out. He's like, yeah, totally. Because it looks like she's also like slumped over like the ring.
I saw that sex doll, and it did freak me out.
It did freak me out.
There's one nice cop there.
Yeah, I like that guy.
Anyway, that's what happened.
That is so fucking ridiculous.
Fun.
Did they apologize? How did it wrap?
Oh no, they were so pissed because like all the things I've ever reported to the LAPD that they don't give a fuck about, this one you could tell that they gave a fuck. I'm like, "Hey, here's video evidence of me getting assaulted by this guy," and they're like, "Well, what do you want us to do about it?" Here's my girl.
Here's you for being swatted.
No, they were pissed. They were pissed that they look like assholes. So the guy was like, "Oh yeah, the guy who did this is wasting a lot of resources. He's in big trouble." I'm like, "Well, good luck, dude. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think you could find him. I don't think you could do it, but prove me wrong."
So I alluded to that story on PKN, and I was told that I could tell that story if you guys want
about
to hear.
the old fashioned. Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to try to start at the beginning, and just know that I've had to interview 3 different people to get all of this. And so if I get things just a little bit misconstrued with the timeline, I apologize, but I'm doing the best I can. There's just so much to take in. So this is a story about a guy who's 21 years old, who's tangentially related to some friends of mine in their gaming group. And
How's
stuff.
his ass?
Big. He's about
Tell a story.
big. He's 300 pounds. He's a 21-year-old guy, and he's a virgin. And he's a very fragile, emotional guy. It turns out, I put that together through a lot of these stories. But long story short, they're doing this big meetup. Everybody's going to meet at one guy's house, and they're going to party and hang out, kind of like what I did in Colorado with my buddies. But they're going somewhere else.
I find it hard to believe that 21-year-old 300-pound virgins watch a dope show like this. But carry on.
Well, that's the thing. They said he doesn't watch anymore, so it's cool. So he drives 16 hours to this friend's house, this gaming friend. They all meet at the house. Let's call it three to five of them, and they're trying to figure out the sleeping situation, right? Because it's not a mansion. And he's like, "Oh, don't even worry about me. I like to sleep on the floor in my sleeping bag, just like at the dorm." He hasn't ever slept in a bed. He's been sleeping in a sleeping bag on the floor always. That's how he feels comfortable. No beds for him. Don't worry about it. So he also notices
out of that.
Like the Blind Side.
He also notices that the grass isn't cut at this guy's house, who, his host. He's like, "Hey, I noticed your grass wasn't cut." He's like, "Yeah, I don't know." And so the guy wakes up the next morning. They partied that night, so call it 11 a.m. And we'll call this guy Pete. Pete is our star. Pete cut the fucking grass at 5 a.m. that morning with this man's lawnmower. Not only that, because the man doesn't own an edging tool like a weed eater, he went and got one so that he could edge this man's yard up real nice.
The 21-year-old 300-pound virgin is out doing labor.
Out at the crack of dawn, cutting this man's yard and edging it up without being asked or asking for permission himself. So they go to the casino that night, right? And they're like, playing slots and stuff like that, just penny slots. And someone's explaining to this Pete like how casinos work, how there's no clocks on the wall, so you can't tell where you are, and all this money is just getting poured in, and like, I know I'm losing right now, I just don't care. And he starts crying. Pete starts crying because it's such an awful thing.
The idea of gambling?
Idea of sort of Western civilization and how wasteful and vice-filled we are. And just the casino environment, it upsets him so much he cries.
He's like the Green Mile.
He works
absorbing all this pain.
So that night they decide, after a bit of gambling, they're going to go to the strip club, right? Let's see some titties, right? So they're walking in, and one of the guys, who's normal, says, "When's the last time you saw a lady's tits in person?" And he goes, "Oh, maybe 2 weeks ago. My mom was changing. I was hanging out with her, having a chat, and she,
okay,
she was changing."
That's hilarious. Wasn't it a joke?
No. And they go, "You didn't. You looked at your mom's boobs?" He's like, "Well, we were having a conversation. It's rude to just turn your back."
Okay. You know what? He's right.
All right. So things are going to
Norman Bates now.
If I was talking to you when you turned your back, Kyle, I wouldn't like that.
Dick, the things are going to start adding up here very quickly. Okay. So we get into the strip club, and the boys know that this guy's a virgin. So they're like, "Let's send him in the back with a girl, and let's tell her it's on us, and let's let him have some fun."
Looking him up, yeah.
He's a rough-looking guy. Let me just say that right out the gate. I don't know what you're picturing, but
rough like Wild West, like pirate, or not
rough like Hodor when he was a younger fella. And so Pete goes in the back with this vile fucking stripper, but by the time it's over, he has gotten himself a condom on $500 hand job. And
wait, what?
And a condom on $500 hand job right there in the back.
That condom on. All right.
Okay.
And at some point, like, she gets on his phone and is literally trying to transfer money out of his bank account. He's like, no, don't do that. And so get in the car, and they're driving home, and they hear a noise in the back of the car.
Again?
He's sobbing because the hand job was so traumatic. He's sobbing over the traumatic hand job. And what's more, and I'm not going to laugh at this because it's so dark, that night and every night afterwards, he had night terrors about the hand job and and how traumatic it was.
And I was just laying there. I was awake, but I couldn't move. She was beating my dick.
Nocturnal emissions with his the first ever case.
Yeah.
He
The
decides
nightmare
there's
is like
only
she gets the phone and transfers all his money.
That's where I'd have the night terrors.
it gets so much worse. He decides there's
Nobody
only one
cries.
cure for these night terrors. He has to replace that terrible sexual experience he had with a good one.
Yeah.
So what does he do? Get on Tinder, maybe hit the scene, like going bar to bar, just talking to girls? No, he finds himself a prostitute. She's an hour, 2 hours away or something. She's $200 an hour and 1 hour away. That's the score.
Okay.
She's pretty hot, I'm told. Like think hot chick. I looked at her profile and it's just her ass, so it's I don't. That's all I got to go on. But they said she was pretty. He drives an hour, and he buys an hour with her. But he's so scared that they cuddle and watch TV for the entire hour. And she's like, honey, I've got another date after this. Like, that's it. And he's like, okay, thank you, ma'am. And he drives back to them an hour back.
No.
But he's still horned up and he's talking to them. He's like, you know what? I think I'm ready. So he calls her back
You gotta
up.
be running out of money.
No, trust me.
Okay.
He's got way too much. The girl who was trying to transfer the money out of his bank account, she almost got it all, but the prostitutes and the strippers, they're not there yet. He decides, I can do it this time. So he books 2 hours this time. And so
One
he
for
shows
TV.
up.
Virgins
He
are known
goes-
for how long they last.
He gets himself a good 30-40 minutes of cuddling in. And then he says he has sex with her twice, and it lasted for a total of 1 minute and 15 seconds. Both
Each?
times. No. No. He also described. He
You
also
could have, in theory, booked 90 seconds instead of 120
This guy
minutes.
tells the truth too much. This is the most criminally honest person on earth.
Yeah, good. So when he
keeps
kills
going.
somebody, he'll confess right away.
He described her on top of him as missionary, so it's hard to tell if they actually had doggy or if what that actually meant. But that's what he said happened. And then he had 30 more minutes on the clock after he came the second time, and she was like, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking go.
Oh, God.
I'm peacing out, and she just left, straight up left, and so he drove back again. I'm imagining he's paying for hotels each of these trips out there as
She's
well.
not getting a good CustSat survey.
No, he's not. Oh, he was so pleased.
I want to see
with the
her
service.
Yelp reviews.
I'll send it later.
She's a whore. And 5 stars.
Plus psycho.
My friend who was the host, it's his house, who's getting like the yard done every night. He said, I had stocked the house with snacks, because I'm having all these guys come in. I've got beer and drinks and all sorts of like cookies and stuff. He's like, have you ever seen an obese person stress eat? And I started thinking about it. No, I haven't. When Wings of Redemption was at my house, I'll say this about Wings. When he was at my house, regardless of exercise or whatever, he did not go crazy with food ever once, unless he really somehow like snuck out in the night. And I do not believe that happened. He never went crazy with his diet at all. He said this guy went and got a 12-pack of moon pies. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Zach, but I think a moon pie is about 450 calories. A moon pie is graham cracker, marshmallow in the middle, and it's all covered in chocolate. It's just
snack. 3 different kinds of sugar.
It's 3 different kinds of sugar, and they're
220, he
wonderful.
says. Okay.
Oh, that's all. Well, I don't feel so bad now. I think there's big ones though. See if these are the big ones. They're individually
What's a serving
wrapped.
size? Like a third of a moon pie?
That's how they
he
get
goes,
you.
He goes and gets a 12-piece box of them, and my friend's like, I looked over and I saw you had the box, and then I started watching TV for a few minutes, and we made it like 8 minutes into a video, and I looked back, and he'd eaten 8 of them, and I said, bro, they're individually wrapped for a reason. I was like, you did not say that. You did not say that to his face. He's like, I did. I swear on my mother's life. And one more thing. They were chilling on the couch, and like my friend's, chilling on his own. He's on his own couch, like curled up on the couch, watching TV or whatever. Maybe there's a group of guys around. It's dark. It's night. And he said Pete is very pedextrous, which means he can like do stuff with his feet. And he's always trying to play footsie with you and trying to pinch your toes with his big toe and his. And
I thought pedextrous was when you could molest a child with both hands.
It was like when they told me all these stories, like they, oh, and then another time, I don't know if I mentioned this, but they're in the living room partying, like drinking and smoking, and like music's playing, and all of a sudden they hear, and he's sobbing again in his sleeping bag
Is
behind
that
the couch.
5 cries?
He cried every night.
Oh my
Is that
God.
I think that might be the 5th cry.
He's like
cried
a foster dog.
He cried like the whole fucking time.
like a foster
And
dog.
oh, and then the last thing, and this one kind of like made me feel bad about the whole thing. Like the last day he was there, I think it was time for him to go, but he drove himself. So, what time are you going to leave, right? You're going to leave at 10 a.m., right, buddy? No, it's like noon or something. And he's still there. And he asked the host, he goes, hey, could we please watch the last episode of The Boys together? And he was like, Kyle, he asked so politely, there was no way to tell him no.
I like it.
So we sat and we watched the last episode, but I made him keep his shoes on.
So no, there was no footsie pinching.
No footsie
Going
no
on?
footsie whatsoever.
Why
It's
did this
one of-
happen? Was this like an outreach program for special needs weirdos? House
is.
that you
That it's just him trying to party with a bunch of guys, and they invited a guy they'd never hung out with before. And there's a few other things, but I can't tell them because it makes other people look bad too.
Oh
And I don't want to do that. But the whole thing is real sad, real sad. And when I kept hearing the story from different people, and each person had more details. And the first person who told the story was him, by the way. So don't think I'm like talking behind his back. Like, he told us this fucking story. It is one of the saddest things I've ever heard. And the mom stuff, and the pinching my buddy's feet with his toes is just so bizarre.
I do. That would upset me. I don't want someone else's feet touching my feet, or I don't want someone else's feet touching me. Like,
not a man.
When I was 4 years old, my grandpa would do that. It's like I'm gonna get you kind of thing. I don't want a grown ass man doing that shit to me in 2022, though. Okay, like Taylor, if we were chilling on the couch, stoned, like watching Lord of the Rings, and you started pinching my, like even more realistically, if you tried to like pull a tuft of the hair that's on my feet and make some Hobbit reference with your toes, I'd get up and leave.
You know what I would do if you didn't leave? I'd be like, this fucking weirdo just let me do that.
Bro, you were supposed to freak out. I thought I was being edgy.
I was giving you a shit test and you failed. Get the hell out, sir.
So fucking weird.
That is, but I feel bad for this guy. Like, first of all, what was the total amount of cash he was out? Like,
Feel bad for the
less than
hooker.
2? Well, not the first hooker. The first hooker got to watch fucking King of the Hill for an hour and then go to the next job.
And toe cuddle
same
with
hooker.
this guy.
Yeah. Same hooker
playing-
twice. He just booked the same girl again.
Oh no.
The hot
well,
one, though. You say no, but
Yeah. It
apparently
was a hot girl he had sex
she's
with.
not transferring all his bank account money, and she's hot, and she fucked him
right.
twice in 2
Yeah.
hours.
And I told him, I was like, that makes sense, because I think of hookers as, I don't know, decent women making a living, the old fashioned way, and I think of strippers as like vile reptiles who can't be trusted, who'll go through your phone and steal your money.
He's also acting like it seems like in his head, being 21 and a virgin is like being 31 and a virgin. Like, you're 21. Like, you've got time to get it together. You're fine. Like,
No,
He does
I
not
know
have it together. No.
I don't
just
know. I don't know what I don't know what this person looks like. I'm saying he's got time to put it together. He's
young
21
Hodor.
years old. A young Hodor, tall. That speaks to you know.
He's got grass stains on his shirt at 6 a.m. from secret midnight yard trimming.
The most bullshit thing that I heard in that whole story was this guy thought he was being courteous by mowing the lawn at 5 a.m. Dude, that is so. I would be livid if my neighbor started doing lawn work at 5 a.m.
Which dude is he, Kyle?
unacceptable.
Camera dude?
The one holding the camera. That'd be funny, right? Like, which one are you? I just like to take the pictures. So you're into photography? No. I just prefer it that way. He's I wrote it in there which one he is.
He needs to stop going. I think he's fucking himself over in the long run trying to speed run with this prostitute strategy.
You're wrong.
Because he's going to get
well.
older and older into his 20s without like learning how to organically like get something going in a conversation.
You're wrong.
Nah,
You don't
yeah,
think so?
that's good experience.
Here's what I think. I don't think, and like straight honesty, based on how odd he is, and again, being very honest here, how he looks there. I think that what he really needs to do is learn how to negotiate with prostitutes better. That's his best ticket in life. Like, learn how to negotiate with prostitutes better. And here's what you'll achieve. You'll achieve sex whenever you want it with women that you would never be able to sleep with otherwise.
I don't know.
For free if you're quick.
I think this guy has more charm than you're letting on, quick? Kyle. I think he has a very good shot at the third most popular host on this podcast, just based on his lawn care skills alone.
Okay, now that's fair. That's fair. I bet if he stayed at your house,
let him mow your lawn at 5.
I let him do a lot. If he mowed my yard.
Woody looking outside and Hodor's out there on his tractor, just going to town. It's like, Woody, I noticed that you didn't have a certain kind of disc mower, so you can't really get the angles. But I went and rented one. No, certain parts of that story made me think of him in a good way, and then certain parts made me very afraid of him, and like I would lock my door if he was at my house. So I don't know. Odd fellow. And the crying
in my stable if he was at my house.
The crying is a big thing. He's gotta get a handle on the open weeping. It's very unsettling to have a man openly weep around you.
Here's a good question.
When my mom died, I was like, come on, guys.
There's a time and place for some crying, but like
Taylor, I hope you get only one of those an episode of My Mom Died Trump card. Oh boy.
If I had a nickel for every time.
Here he goes, bingo. We're drinking. Taylor talking about his mom dying again.
Literally every time
Taylor does an Asian accent.
Okay, now that's fair. The Asian accent one, that is a bingo one. It's just so damn easy to do a bad one. Like, it's just like there's no critique there. Like, no one.
My mom died. She tried to kill me.
Yeah.
There's one other guy I talked to who tried to do this multi-nut thing with prostitutes. Like, this guy's called into my show a couple times. He's on. It started out really innocent. He was trying to fuck this girl he'd been writing to in prison, and she was playing hard to get.
Who's in prison?
The girl.
Okay.
The girl was in prison, and he was writing to her, and she wasn't responding to him fast enough because, she was in prison, and he had a problem with that. And it turned out he's like a huge psycho who's not legally allowed to use the internet in Australia because he's harassing people too much.
I like this guy. Let's get him on the show.
And he's crazy.
He's banned from online
in Australia.
So he'll write me emails about how he's like on his way to see a new prostitute, and he'll have like a bottle of champagne on the subway to meet her. And he talks about how many times he'll come in his hour of seeing these prostitutes. But then I found out he's on the prostitute blackball website. Like, they've got a private, it's in Australia where prostitution is legal in some places. They've got their own private prostitute website where you have to prove that you're a prostitute to join. And like he's got the biggest thread there. Like, he's like the Jack the Ripper, but he still manages to find hookers who will fuck him. It's so funny.
But does he not pay them? Like,
No.
Why are the reviews so bad?
Because he's a fucking lunatic. Like, he tries to get as much as possible. He's the biggest wheeler dealer in the world when it comes to hookers. He's like, okay, so I see like $150 for a condom blowjob. Okay, so do you think that I could get you pregnant? And they'll be like, no, sorry, honey. Like, they have their like whore talk, like, oh, yeah, baby, you so sexy. No, I don't think so. Let's just say, they don't realize how crazy he is. He's like, okay, and then he'll send them like a readout of his testosterone levels, like, and his semen count, which he sends to me too. I don't know, well, because he's crazy.
Is it a good count? Do you know? It must be if he's sending pamphlets about it.
I don't know if it's a good count. Like, I didn't read it.
Maybe it's a really bad count. So he's like, come on, let me buzz.
I want to know what his testosterone count is.
Oh shit! I'll pull it up. I'll try to find it during an ad read.
I'd love to know.
No, so This
Well,
guy
that's bizarre.
is blackballed from all of the whores in Australia.
I want to know more about this.
He didn't even steal.
Like
Chris the
here's
Kiwi.
here's where my head immediately went to. That here's a site, and you have to prove you're a prostitute to get access to the site, which in my mind thinks, well, I make a website, and then every prostitute has to fuck me to get access to it. What better way is there to prove your bona fides than to sleep with the webmaster?
Yeah.
Woody, I don't
you
know
start
if
a site called like reliableprostitutes.woody and and then it's like, oh, I'm sorry, do you want a place on reliableprostitutes.woody? You're gonna have to come over and complete my survey.
This is like a monkey paw wish. Uh-oh. Then you'll hear the thundering in the distance of the stampede of fat prostitutes coming to your house like, oh shit, I didn't think this one through.
I forgot to set it to female only. You
Trans
certainly are
entrances in the
hung,
back,
Rex.
please.
Trans entrance is in the back, so to speak.
Yeah, but I didn't know what. Maybe they're Blue Chew users. They try to like keep it hard and disguise their nut. He's walked me through some of his experiences where he's like, oh yeah, then I nutted and I didn't let her know, so we kept going. Oh man, that sounds like fun, kind of the way you're saying it. I don't know if it is though.
I mean,
It
women tend
seems
to
like he
know
just
when
rips
you nut.
women off. He's just really trying to get as much for as little.
Yeah.
Good for him. That's a conscious consumer.
It's the art of the deal,
I
Australia.
mean, a little negotiation is to be
The art of the
expected.
deal. How about you suck my cock and thank me for it?
Oh, there's 150
I need
with a
$100.
blowjob. I could save you $2. 148, no blowjob.
Have you
no
seen
condom.
this ass golfing in a pair of khakis?
because we were talking about asses earlier. Trump, I don't know. Like he's
the
up there in
donk.
the
Got a big
donk
ass.
category. I don't know if I said this on the show. We've done so many. When I was like, it was me and both of my younger brothers in the back of a van, and my mom was driving. And this was like, I was probably like 13, 14, and so my brothers were like 12 and 6 or 7. And we were driving, and we were both in the back seat. There must have been something in the front, so we couldn't sit in the shotgun. And we sat down, or we stopped at a stoplight. And I think it was me. I farted, and it was absolutely rancid. But it wasn't rancid enough. And mind you, it's snowing outside. It's very it's very snowy outside. And my mom in our Honda Odyssey, she goes, "Oh, Taylor!" And then she opens both doors with the button. We're in the line in traffic, and I can still remember sitting in that captain seat like, Mom, I'm like shivering, and the girl in the van next to me is looking over, pointing and laughing at us because we're all sitting in a van where there's now flurries of snow flying through that chasm that is the van with both doors open. And I remember just like her starting to pull away. And when you're driving, the doors don't close. And so we were just driving for the next like half mile, like, Mom, close the door. The girl's laughing at us. And she's like, I can't close it, Taylor. I can't close it. It's stuck. We're driving. We can't close it. And so we drove like multiple miles as I'm sitting there with my brothers, like, as snow is flying into the car. And it was really embarrassing. I've never seen that girl since in that car,
Well,
but
that's good.
her point and laugh to 12-year-old me in that car, that hits the core.
How old was she?
Probably about my age, probably
Okay.
12 or so.
That's even worse. A peer.
A colleague of mine observed this and put it out on the Slack channel.
We heard
Yeah.
your mom's van doesn't even have doors.
Dude, she was driving me in that van to a football game once in just a slight, like maybe 20 minutes away from where we lived at the time. And we got in, and the coach had it with late players to games. And so he had this was 8th grade. He'd told the whole team, he was like, anyone who shows up late will not play. I'm over it. Show up when the game starts. Because it was 8th grade. The parents didn't give a shit. And I remember it was
As
8th
they
grade.
shouldn't. No one should give a shit.
No one should give a shit. We did not have a big team. And so I played place kicker, extra point kicker, occasional cornerback, sometimes wide receiver, O-line, and linebacker. I played a lot of things because we didn't have very many people. And as we're driving, my mom, like, we were late, and so she was trying to like run a red, and we get sideswiped by a car, and it like demolishes this person's Mustang and just kind of like fucks up the back of our Honda Odyssey. And I remember like sitting there being like, oh, coach is gonna be so mad. and then I got there to the game after all this was settled and everything, and we drive there and we get there, and he's like, Taylor, where have you been? And I'm like, I'm sorry, coach, I was in a car accident on the way here. and he looked at me and he goes, Jesus Christ.
Of course.
And he was like, well, you can still play, yeah. Like you were.
You
in a
probably
car
shouldn't,
accident?
but
Are you okay? Like, because
so
I was sitting on the side that got hit by the car, and I remember like I was just kind of sitting there like dreading it, and they just boom, just slammed real hard. But yeah, he immediately let me take the field as soon as I told him I was in a car accident.
Yeah, of course.
7 minutes ago, my mom's minivan was struck by a Mustang. I'm still a little rattled, so if I'm bad at football,
Mom ran every red light here until that Mustang hit us. I'm so sorry, coach. She's a dumb bitch. What
Dude,
do you say?
I don't know if you guys played football at all. I hated football. Hated it. It was the most boring sport. I would rank it more boring.
no,
as a player
baseball
than
is more boring than
all right,
anything.
fine. Okay, fine. Baseball wins the boring.
Well, it depends
Football,
what position you play, though, right?
soccer is ahead of football as far as not boring as a kid, because at least with soccer, you're always active, like you're always moving. Football was horrible because the only sport I played a ton at that point was hockey, and it's constant movement. And so like I would feel like as soon as like I'm feeling amped about the play we're in, it's over. And then you go back, and then
I was always
the
bored.
quarterback goes, what are we going to do? And he goes, well, I'm 13, so I'm going to hand it off to the fastest kid again. Like, and that's the way it always went. And all of my routes were like, hey, Taylor, run this diagonal route so that we'll trick them into thinking we're going to pass to you. And it's like, the cornerback isn't even covering me anymore because he knows that you can't throw it. But yeah, eighth grade football, very fun. Can't believe you guys didn't get forced to play.
I think I did. I don't know how old I was when I played. I don't know.
And you never played, Dick? Never played football?
No, I was forced to play tennis and baseball.
Oh, I also played tennis and baseball.
Tennis is a bunch of fun. Tennis is really underrated.
It's not fun. Tennis gives your parents a direct line to yell at you in a way that other sports have like a coach in the way or multiple coaches. Tennis is like a one-on-one you getting yelled at, so it's really the excitement is lessened by that component. Baseball is great.
Well, it doesn't have to be a one-on-one yell. Like I remember playing hockey. Like my dad was very comfortable yelling at me in front of everyone. Like, I let in a goal that I probably shouldn't have, and I would like be looking forward in my mask, like dreading looking up to the stands and seeing my dad because he'd be like fucking furious at me.
Yeah,
like, I would be like I was so stressed out about hockey games every single time, just like fuck, like I hope I don't fuck up and like. I don't want to be mad at me.
That's if I had a time machine, I would just go back to one of those any tennis game. Just go like, what the fuck is your problem? What do you care about this? Games? Yeah, it's a fucking nightmare.
And he yelled at you. Was your dad? Wait, was your dad good at tennis?
Yeah, he's good. He's like a super athlete. He's great at everything and loves it.
Damn. So he actually had a leg to stand on when he was critiquing you.
Well, no, that doesn't make that. That's the opposite. What kind of things would he yell?
Just I think he was like Tiger Woods' dad. The King Richard, the Serena Williams. Like for some reason, a bunch of guys his age. I'm not Serena Williams. No, I know. Believe me, I've heard this many times. At many different levels, many different decibels. I don't know why, but a bunch of guys his age got like Agassi's dad, Serena Williams' sister's dad, Tiger Woods' dad. They all got this idea that that the most important thing for their kids was to have them be like the best athlete, like superstar in the world. I don't know why this was dad's. This was like a dad manufacturing plant decided to make this chip of dad and put it in this model of how to be a pain in the ass. But he got that upgrade just like all these other guys, and I was just not really that good. Like I'm okay, but I also don't hate sports because I hate other people, and like.
Did you not
doing
have the
things
makings
together.
of a varsity athlete?
No, I played varsity. I just don't really like it. Like I like fucking around. I like the
My
slap
dad
dick.
was working. He only went to championships. Like he didn't just attend every game. Like
Oh, you lucked out, Woody. I would trade anything.
Yeah. If you
My
want
dad-
your dad to come to the game, you better make fucking states. Actually, he didn't go to states, but he did go to like local championships that weren't such
Oh,
a big drive.
oh,
he
when-
went to the
when Dad-
convenient championships. Okay, he was.
No,
present.
yeah, Dick is right. You lucked out. Like when my dad wasn't coming to a game, I was like, okay, I can
thank
calm
God.
down a little bit.
Really? I can't relate to any of this. My dad was at every game because he was oftentimes the coach, and he didn't yell at me. You know, it was like
Never?
I mean, only if I wasn't paying attention. If I was in the outfield
yeah.
or something, like not paying attention, it's like, hey, wake up out there. You get one of those. But that's not mean. That's
Would he
supportive.
yell at you if you made a mistake on the field?
He never did. But I don't remember making a lot of like mental errors. That's something that I wouldn't do. When I failed, it was physical. You know, I wasn't fast enough, or with pitching, like there's just this wall you hit where like you just don't have it anymore, like accuracy wise, and it's like at this point, this is on you. Either take me out or reap the benefit, or reap what you get.
I'm doing everything I can possibly do to throw it. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I don't remember him ever yelling at me, other than to pay attention. And or pay attention if I was on the bench too. Like you're not supposed to be horsing around when you're sitting on the bench. You're supposed to be paying attention to the game. Like we're here for this. We're here for this. If you want to like lollygag and like fucking blow bubblegum bubbles on each other back there like a bunch of pussies, like we're not going to do that here today. Like that was clear. We're here to play baseball.
If I let a goal in,
That sounds
like,
familiar.
We're
Pay
here to
attention
play
on the
baseball.
bench. Fuck you.
If I let a goal in that I knew I shouldn't let it look in,
No.
it gave me so much fucking anxiety because I knew he would be very displeased with that.
Well, I wouldn't want to disappoint him, but he would never like, you fucked that one up. Like nothing close to that ever. And to be honest, maybe that's why I don't remember like making mistakes like that, is because he never was mean about that. Because I honestly don't have any memories of like big mistakes in baseball. I'm sure I made some. I remember hitting some kids. But that's just funny when you're a pitcher.
Dude, there are frames in my head I can see still if I close my eyes of me missing a puck with my left glove in a championship game, and it like I was so devastated. Like I was so anxious. Like, oh my god. Like I wish I saved that. I don't want anybody mad at me.
No, I can't. I've had more experiences like that, like those crushing mistakes that you were embarrassed about in video games than I have sports. Like
that goal, Taylor, I wouldn't have blamed on the goalie. Like, I'll blame the goalie if a really slow one gets in. You know, if a knuckleball, like whatever, dribbles in and the goalie. One thing that can happen in hockey if people don't play is it's rolling at them and they don't take it seriously enough. Like they try to stop it with just their stick, or maybe they don't get into proper position to really handle a last minute deflection or something like that. That I'll blame the goalie for. A freaking like wrister that goes in by your glove side, dude, you shouldn't have got that shot off. Like there's a team
same
in front
thing
of you.
fielding in baseball. You can get down in front of and square up and you can like get that thing, or you can kind of like jaunt over and like do this slick thing where you just kind of reach down and grab it and go through the motion smoothly. And one of them looks cool and the other one works 100% of the time.
Yes. Yeah. So unless the goalie's being lazy,
the goalie thing, like if you haven't played goalie in ice hockey, you may not realize like the puck is vulcanized rubber. It's unbelievably hard, and so when people hold it, they don't think like this is also bouncy. Like, and it's less bouncy once they freeze it, but it's still rubber. It's still bouncy, and so the like most terrifying shot as a goalie was when they would get it on net on like a bullshit dump in, and it would be on net, but it would be landing in like, those balls, those bouncy balls that have like 4 different or 6 different like sticks on every side, almost like a jack,
almost like
that
throwing
you could
a football.
throw. Yeah, you could throw it and it'll bounce anywhere.
Go.
Yeah, you don't know where it's going to bounce. And so, like, I remember explicitly right now, I'm remembering a goal I let in from almost like the blue line where they flipped it in. And I like thought I had myself in the right position, and it landed right in front of my stick and went like, boo, and like went right over me. And I remember like wanting to kill myself in that moment, being like, this is so humiliating because no one who just watched this realizes what happened. Like, how I was trying to track the puck and I fucking missed it. Oh, that's so embarrassing. It is. Being a goalie fucking sucks. You can't leave. You can't leave. You're in there the whole game. Do you know how many games I stood there while opposing fan bases threw fries at me and chicken nuggets at me and shit? And like the refs have to come over and I would have to take my stick and push all the fries and chicken nuggets into the net so that it wasn't in the middle of the play. And like, you're just, and then like,
Taylor, you fool. You should have made a defensive wall out of fries and chicken nuggets so that they can't score.
Rip the mask off and just started feasting.
No, make a little.
You're giving me power.
I would have
Now I'm going to save all the bucks.
Tall barrier made of fries.
Oh no, Taylor's supersizing.
He's supersizing, and I'm just busting out of my pants, just filling the whole net. Yeah, that's my.
Where can I go to throw chicken nuggets at a kid playing hockey? That sounds great.
Literally any high school game. There was so much.
Yeah.
So the way hockey works in high school is it's as far as injuries go, it's the most dangerous sport. It's much less popular than football, and so it doesn't get the same hate. But schools do not insure their hockey programs. All hockey programs are like a third party thing because they don't want to deal with it. And so you would do that, and that's how it would go. There's not much else to explain. That's how they would do it. Is they didn't want to deal with people getting hurt, and so they just threw people on there. But yeah, all the hockey games I would go to, like one of my very close friends now, he's a year younger than me in high school. And in high school, I did not know him at all. His name is Mike. Did not know him. The way I met him is that he came to every single hockey game, even the games that were like at midnight because hockey times are ridiculous. And he would be there, and sometimes he'd be the only student there, and he would get blackout drunk. And the first time I saw him around school in the hallways, and he started walking around like there was no one at the game, and he started walking around the rink towards where I am. And I'm like, what's this fucker doing? Like, is he gonna like try and distract me and bang on the glass? And like he was walking like he was already fucking blackout drunk. And like he gets behind me and he starts banging on the glass, and like hockey players, like you don't respond to banging on the glass ever. But I heard him yelling like, Taylor! Taylor! And I was like looking around like just trying to see. He's like, I love you. you made so many good saves. Like, yeah, like he was. And multiple games, I would notice him coming around, and he would just like be drunk, giving me encouragement, being like, "I know we're losing, but it's not your fault. You're doing good. Like, I'm so proud of you," and like just doing shit like that. And like we became friends later. Look, I'd be like, "You're the guy who comes to all the fucking games, and your name's Mike." And he's like, "Yeah, I love getting blackout drunk, going to the hockey games. It's so much fun." And I'm like, yeah, sometimes like you don't even bring people with you. He's like, yeah, it's a solo occasion sometimes. But yeah, shout out to Mike, one of my close friends. Got to meet him that way. Yeah, I remember one of the younger brother of one of my teammates. It was Dan, the guy who was always drunk and high when he would play, but he was at a skill level. So Dan and I were the best players on the team, and we played on a different team that traveled together also. And so it was just a coincidence we happened to be on this team as well. And so Dan would get just blackout drunk sometimes before he played, and he'd still be tremendous. But he gave his younger brother once a whistle to sit in the stands with. And he told his younger brother, he goes, if they ever have a breakaway, blow the whistle. And because like a breakaway means that they would have a player coming towards me, the goalie, with no one around. So it'd be 1-on-1, a very bad situation for a goalie. And so he gave this whistle to his brother. And I swear to God, he got 3 breakaways blown down before they went up into the stands and found the kid with the whistle and removed him. But literally, like, we ended up winning the game, and it was 1,000,000% because of him blowing the whistle in the stands. Because
you're not allowed to do that?
No, because a whistle means the end of play. And so they would be skating towards me, and they would cross the blue line, and I'd be skating out, and it'd just be me and him. And then there'd be a, from over there, whoop, and then the guy carrying the puck would be like, and he'd like he'd like push it away, and then the refs would be like, plays live. But by that point, like all my defensemen are back and everything's good. And he got away with it a couple times before they were like, find who has that whistle.
It's like bringing a air horn to a basketball game.
Yeah, I guess that would be the same because that's what they use there for. Or no, don't they use whistles for plays?
In
right?
high school basketball.
Oh, I don't know anything about high school basketball.
I remember they used an air horn for something because I remember they were beeping one during the game. It caused a whole problem.
We would wear little umpire uniforms. The first baseman would like pull his shirt off and run over and go, "You're out!" And then he would get off and we'd tag him. We're like, joke's on you. Just first baseman.
I'm just the first baseman. Well, I'm just an umpire with a glove standing here with a ball in it.
On his back. He would have it on his back.
Oh, okay.
You're out.
Yeah, baseball was the shittiest sport to have to play as a child because it was literally only batting. It was just the waiting game until it was your turn to bat, and then that was it. Because no one's hitting dingers into the outfield in Little League. For the most part, they're just not.
It's just like a screw-up sport. Like, see how many screw-ups you can not make. And as a kid, you just make a lot. Like, I'm seemingly easy catch. Like, whoops, well, fuck that up. Oh, here's an easy throw. I've done a million times. Whoop, fuck that up.
Watching T-ball is one of the most excruciating things. I saw this really cute clip on Reddit the other day where the kid like hits the ball and then he starts crying because he ran the wrong way, and the coach just runs over and picks him up and starts running with him to first base, and he's kicking his little legs like he's running, and then he like sits him down and he's safe because the play was so bungled it didn't matter that he had went with the run. It didn't fucking matter.
No one's keeping score. Who gives a fuck?
We had there was a year where before T-ball and after T-ball and before you start having kids throw at each other, they had the pitching machine or coach pitch. The pitching machine made so much more sense than having someone's dad fucking throw at us. Like that never made sense to me.
Why? Because he's inconsistent and bad at it?
Yeah. Yeah, like just give us this, give us all the exact same thing if you're not going to have a kid throw at us.
Stupid question, but does the machine do the same thing every time?
It's really consistent.
Mostly, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can make it do other stuff, but that'd be wacky.
I went to a batting cage
if he's back there like
the same thing.
Yeah, but I think you can turn the thing and make it do funky stuff.
A little randomizer, I guess.
Would that be good?
It's better than a
training?
dad. It's more consistent than someone's dad, probably.
It's infinitely more consistent than a human being. Yeah.
Is that even good to train on if you're like a pro though?
Yeah, it's about timing. It's not about like hitting
accuracy.
It's about timing. Or if it's really fast, and that's the thing about baseball is like the guy's fastball might be 93 miles per hour, but he'll throw some off speed pitch at like 86 or something, and the guy's already set up to hit that fastball, and then his timing's all wrong, and he's like this machine that's trying to stop mid motion and reload, and it just doesn't work. That's
probably the most impressive thing about baseball, both like hitting the ball and also like you'll watch like viral videos of someone like throwing a ball as hard as they can. It's like 88, and it's like, whoa, this guy's got an arm. And then you see like a baseball highlight, and it's like, oh, fastball 103, and then it's like, oh, he's throwing his super slow changeup. Wow, a measly 82. It's like my God, like that's got to be unbelievably difficult to hit.